Reflection is called choosing which battles to fight. When a situation arises that makes you angry, confront your anger and analyze it. Try to do this before you react rather than later. Ask yourself which factors have given rise to that particular instance of anger or hatred. Analyze it further. Ask yourself whether anger is an appropriate response, and especially whether it can be constructive or destructive. Exert restraint or cultivate thoughts of patience and tolerance. As my friends will tell you, I have temper. There are times that I let it loose, but it is rare. I will get vexed, I will snap and I'll growl, but that is usually it. On the rare occasions that I actually let it loose, it's with a company. It is because that company has failed to provide the most basic of basic customer service. There's even no service. And it's oftentimes the failure to provide human basic rights. And in the practice of not providing service, they cast aspersions upon my humanity, my intelligence, my name and character. This month that has been Wells Fargo Bank. I am done with an institution that has publicly told companies with whom I do business in my research, we suspect her of doing money laundering and working for drug traffickers. I let loose my temper with this company in the last 2 days, when after 37 days of dealing with this crap, of them traducing me to everyone but God, every entity with whom I transact business, they said repeatedly when confronted, "This is what our computer told us to do." This is the 21st century version of "I was only following orders." As the Nazis said, as the Japanese said, it's everyone who have put on trial for crimes against humanity. Humans need to overrule computers with the sense and brains that God gave us. I am a federally licensed fraud investigator for insurance and financial crimes. I've worked with the feds for Medicare fraud and also with Treasury feds, with even those people who sometimes protect the president, for the bank fraud, money fraud, and, shall we say, money laundering, and with the MA in forensic accounting. I worked exclusively on one case for 6 months, 70 hours a week. In other words, I know what the indicators are for financial fraud, such as check kiting, money laundering, and all sundry of methods of cheating. I don't need to list them here. I don't want to give you any ideas. But I wasn't doing any of them. In fact, I was failing every single indicator. But the computer at Wells Fargo, one example, is because I had the money from my research grant here and was trying to transfer it to St. Louis. That was an indicator of fraud by their computer. Because I had money and I was spending it, that is an indicator of fraud. Rather Kafkaesque, isn't it? You're in a story of hell and you can't escape. I asked the Lord for help after each call, for they kept hanging up on me. Not for profanity, but because they didn't want to answer my questions. That is unforgivable. But in contrast, I have a gateway hub that is used to turn on lights. When you have visual impairity related to lights, you don't think of turning them on for other people. It's one of those things. And this hub fails 16 days out of 30. This is their upgraded new hub. Yeah. So their old hub, in the 4 years I had it, never failed once. In the 2 years I've had this sucker, it has been off more than it's been on. So every time it fails, I ping support with the line, "Your crap hub has failed again," and a smiley face. But I've never called them. Not in the 2 years. It's just not worth it. It's not worth my time. The light, a CFL programmable, was on continuously for more than 90 days this summer as I waited for support response. The first time they finally responded this summer, "Your hub is too far away from the router. There's interference." So when that was the position it was in that it worked, sort of, for 2 years. So I moved it. And then, "Your hub is too close to the router. There's interference," number 2 says. So now it is as far away as it can be. It worked for 92 hours. And then it crashed for 18 and came up again of its own accord. So I'll crash again over the weekend. And I'll send them another email saying, "Your crap hub has failed again," with a smiley face. And I won't call them, because it's just not worth it. You pick your battles. I will growl and snap, but choose my battles wisely, fighting only when my name and reputation are attainted, or I am traduced. Then I am truly more than vexed, but enraged and angry. An example of when not to fight, when you are clearly in the wrong and are proven by science and videotape to have erred, like with a Sharpie. But those with poorly developed morality or of consciousness of self in the world instead view these incorrectly as threats to their existence and will fight beyond all reason, as you've seen, and past the nth degree, because with poor moral guidance he can't correctly judge which are the battles to fight and from which to walk away. And add the narcissistic obsessive personality, and you have the "I have to be right" situation. Not anger, because with poor moral guidance on choice, there's an inability to get angry, because there are no cues for it. Have you ever noticed that about Trump? He does not get angry, because he doesn't know how to. Unless there's there has to be a cue, like a sign that says, "Get angry now." He won't otherwise know how to. And he doesn't properly display anger, because he doesn't know how to. And just before coming on, there was a tweet by Papa Francesco that comes onto my Facebook feed. And it was so beautiful that I thought, oh, this will be a great ending for today. It will send us off for the week with a very lovely feeling for the weekend. Papa Francesco is on a missionary into Mozambique. Here it is. Try to keep a quiet moment and let God love you. Try to silence all the inner voices and rest for a second in His loving embrace. Isn't that lovely? May the peace of the Lord be with you, and may His Son, Jesus Christ, have His loving embrace, just as His Father, God Almighty, is holding you at the same time.